A little bit of something different today. I thought we'd have a little bit of a story time. I have got other videos to do and they're a little bit dark, so I thought we'd lighten the mood a tad and talk about moths. Now, I'm going to try and keep this short, but you know what I'm not going to get off on one. Let's go back. It's not looking good so far, all right. Oh, warning, disclaimers. These are just my thoughts and opinions, and also I swear. Now, when I was younger, effing petrified of anything that moved at all, be it flying, crawling, anything. I remember when my eldest child, who's now in her mid-30s, was a baby, and my then husband was out at work. And around lunchtime, I think we were watching Home and Away, because I used to watch daytime TV when I was younger. And this bloody great spider ran across the living room. I did no more, bearing in mind, lunchtime, did no more, early afternoon. Picked up my daughter, went to spend the rest of the day upstairs until my husband came home from work at like night time, like about 9-10 o'clock, so that he could, and obviously the spider had fucking gone by then. And as I grew up, I've got a child, and as I got older, like the fear didn't leave me. Now, in my old house, I used to have this part of the wall called the graveyard. My chair was by this, the window was behind me. There was a lamp on the table next to me. And anytime anything, daddy long legs, no, they're the spiders, aren't they? You know, the crane fly things, and whatever. Anytime anything landed on this wall, I'd do no more than splat it, right? And I called this the graveyard, and I'd leave the little legs sticking up as a warning to any other fucking critter that decided it was going to fly around this lamp. I was awful. The fear was horrendous, and the way that I dealt with it was by murder. Right? This is kind of like life, really, kind of like how adults behave with things that they're fearful of. Anyways, so yeah, and at one point I actually wrote on my living room, because I am a swamp monster, and I do write on my walls. If you see my old videos, like old, in the old house, I'd painted on my wall. I just got doodly on my living room wall. Yeah, so like I absolutely petrified, right? And I remember this one time, especially moths. Absolutely petrified of moths. And I think this came from when I was a little girl. We used to have an outside toilet. You know, I'm that old, guys. I'm that old. I had an outside toilet, and there was a moth in there. So my mum went out to catch this moth, and it flew in her mouth. And was very young. It scarred me, right? And I remember I was in my early 20s, I think, and I used to work for a radio station, Leicester Sound FM, the greatest hits of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and Phil Collins, we used to say. And I'd gone over to Nottingham for a meeting, and I was driving out of Nottingham. My car was old and whatever. Driving along, perfectly fine. Came to this, now if you've ever come in and out of Nottingham, you know there's a fucking roundabout, right? Absolutely massive roundabout. I comes up to this roundabout, looks to the right to see if there's any cars coming. Fucking moth sat there on my bloody window next to me. Screamed, first of all. I shit you not, and I am not proud of myself. I went round that roundabout with my fucking eyes closed. Shit you not. I'm like this, and like occasionally just sort of like looking up like this on this fucking busy roundabout. Then when I got off the roundabout, there was, I assume there still is, I don't drive anymore, can't afford it, a lay-by on the road as you come out. So I pulled into this fucking lay-by, jumped out of my car, went to the in the boot there was a newspaper or something. Fucking, this moth did not give a shit, mate. It was fast fucking asleep. How I'd not seen this moth all the way when we were driving through fucking Nottingham, I'd never know. Or whether it had just been asleep on the door and it had just crawled up the whip. Fuck knows, mate. Got rid of it, like literally trembling like a fucking leaf. And then one day, right, and so this is how I was, absolutely fucking petrified. And I am living proof that you can get over a fucking phobia, right? Because that ain't what I'm like anymore. And part of the reason is that somebody once said to me that, like, they're just fucking thick. Moths are stupid. They are derpy, right? So how I got over it was forced therapy, right? I remember having one on my back door. And so I got up really close because they're derpy. They're not like flies and you go up to them and they're like, ah, you bastard. Do you know what I mean? And just sit there. And I got up and I sort of like this one, it was white and it was floofy and it had got these little antennae that looked like leaves, you know, the ones with the thingy like that. And I realised the beauty and the miracle of these tiny little creatures and how they'd been made up. And literally, then I started touching them. It's not some bestiality thing, don't worry. And eventually got over the fear. Cut to the other day, right? Now we've had a heat wave. We've had a couple of heat waves, and no, it's not climate change. I will not subscribe to that. So just so that you know, it's I was here. I remember 2018, and that was a fucking summer, and literally it was glorious. And then ever since then, shit until this year. But every year it's a good year. It's like, oh, it's because it's climate change. And it's like, well, what happened to 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 and 2024, like in between this year and that year? Don't get it, but science. So we've had a heat wave. So I've been having the bathroom window open just to get some airflow through. The other night, went in there's this fucking goat moth, right? Now, Corey, my son, who lives with me, he's not frightened of this stuff. And little moths, he ain't frightened of spiders or anything like that. But if there's oat big and, a chunky boy, he will be like, oh, can you get rid of it, right? Because I am not frightened anymore. So I saw this moth. Now, he was in his bedroom. He didn't know what was going on. So I went, get it. I'm like trying to catch this fucking moth. And I assumed, like, it just disappeared over by the window. So I assumed it had flown out the window, shut the window, went for me pee, brushed my teeth, that kind of thing. And up it pops. And literally, I got it, like, it came up from the bath. I remember looking down at the bath taps, and this thing was looking up at me, and its eyes just looked like it were golden. It was a beautiful thing. Anyway, managed to get it, chucked it outside. Like, jobs are good. And, like, if you just put your hand over them, they're like, you can pick them up. And, this woman who literally drove round a bloody roundabout with her eyes closed picks them up with my bare hands now. Job was a good one. Cracking. Next day. Next day, or day after, right? There's this big boy. There's this big fucking chunky boy. I'm like, mate, I did this the other day. Ain't no thing. I'm going to get rid of this. No fucking thing. Weren't being caught. Was not getting fucking caught. This was not a dumb fucking This fucker had plans on world domination, mate. It weren't going down lightly. So, on there, and I'm trying to, and then it was going up to the light. I've got one of them circular light things with one of them shaped light bulbs. You don't need to know that. And it's up there, and I'm 5'5", so I'm, I can, but I can't I could touch the ceiling, I suppose. I don't know. But I can't put my hand on it to grab a bloody moth. So I got this shower cap that's around and about. And I'm like, at some point in time, I'd come out of the bathroom and Corey had said something to me. So I explained to him that I was on a mission and that this bad boy was getting out of there and not to worry, Mummy was on the case. I'm out, mate. It's fucking getting done. I'd gone in there, shut the door behind me, and I don't know whether, this is the only bit that I can't remember, I don't know whether it was when I shut the door or whether I wafted this shower cap, but literally the walls came alive. Like, literally, there were fucking moths everywhere. Only little ones, like I let them stay in. There were like some pretty white ones, and then little ones, we call them wallpaper paste. Don't even fucking ask. Let's just say that in our house, not everything makes sense like it does outside the house. I'm so sorry. I'm literally making myself sound insane. So I'm there, and like literally, they'd all come out, and I felt like I was in a bush tucker challenge, mate. Literally, around my head, there's just these fucking moths. I'm sitting there thinking, how fucking check out the size of my fucking bollocks, mate. I'm rock hard. I can stand in here with all these moths. And I'm wafting this fucking thing, and it's coming down. And then I tried to get my hand on it when it was over on the wall of the shower. I got my hand over it, and the fucker battered its way out of my hand and let this fucking thing were like Mike Tyson, mate. It was a proper fucking bruiser. I'm there, and it got out, and I'm like, you cheeky bastard. But I was not leaving that thing in there because I knew my son would shit a fucking brick. I was shitting a fucking brick. But pride comes before a fall and all this lot. I'm there, but Betty Big Bollocks, yeah, check me out. I wafted the fucking thing with this fucking shower cap. Fucking and I'm like, where's it gone? Right? So I picks up the fucking shower cap to my face to go again like this, and it was in the fucking shower cap, and it flew out at me at close proximity, and I screamed like I was in a horror movie. And that window was open, and the kids were in bed, and I really hope I didn't wake anybody up because it sounded like I was petrified. And you'll never guess why, because I was fucking petrified, because it just fucking came straight at me. And literally, it was one of them that you had to be there. It's not as funny when you weren't there. But when that thing came out of that shower cap, the scream that came out of me was fucking embarrassing. And I have to say that I am embarrassed for screaming like that. Anyways, carried on perfectly fine. It went over. I finally managed to get it, right? And as I'm taking it from the wall out to the bloody window, this thing is beating me up from the inside of my fucking fist. It was a bruiser. It is the hardcore-est moth that I've ever met in my life. And if I'd have seen that when I was young, I may well be dead by now. But thankfully I lived to tell the tale, and here I am telling you the tale. And I'll just put quickly on the end, another time I did this. Right, this was when all the kids were little. All the kids were little. Sounds like bullshit because my daughter's in her mid-30s, and like when her kids were little. So we got my grandkids round, and my lads were teenagers and whatever. I'd gone to the bathroom. I think it was the bathroom. Caught a spider with my bare hands. It was like this, right? Caught it with my bare hands. Dead fucking proud of myself. Went outside to the kids, and I'm like, check out, like pride comes before a fall. Karma. Instant fucking karma. I'm gone to the kids. Check me out. Check out how old Nunu is, right? Because I used to be called Nunu to my grandkids. Don't speak to my grandkids anymore. It's all really, really fucking tragic, but we won't go into that. And I went like, look. And my son's best friend, Billy, was round as well. because it was Billy and my granddaughter that I was showing it. Opened up my fucking hand like this. This bloody great spider ran straight up the back of my fucking arm. I'm there running around the bloody garden like screaming. It's like I was showing off. I was showing off how fucking hard I was, and the universe humbled me, because that's what the universe likes to do. It's like, nope, back down a peg or two, mate. Back down a peg or two. So yeah, that's my story of Moths. This past week, I feel like I'm not quite as hard as I have always assumed that I am, just literally because of the scream that came out of me. Anyways, if you have any amusing tales of bugness or whatever, or if you just want to call me mental, please feel free to leave a comment at the bottom. If you've made it to the end, what do I owe you? I owe you a bevy, you know I do. But I'm going to talk to you about all my other stuff, so I'm not always this, it's not always this light, as you will see with the next video that I'm about to do. But thank you for being here. Oh, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. But most of all, if you like my work, please share it, because I don't promote myself. I like, you know, so how will anybody know I'm here? Because I don't tell them. Anyways, thank you for being here. Please come back and never forget that I love you all, even if you're a moth. Bye.